So here's the deal. Okay. Um, we're going to take a look at the CP system. Okay. I don't have it bound. So we've got a completely new system, right? Um, should I move? I'll be fine. So, all right. Um, so we have craft over here, right? It's not crafting. Understand it's craft. Okay. People were like, oh, we got a crafting. No, we don't have. No, our skill lines for crafting are still the same. Not the same thing. Okay. So we have craft over here. We have warfare in the middle, right? And then we have fitness. Okay. So this is kind of our survivability line, right? This is our damage line, right? Magicka and stamina and all that kind of stuff. And this over here is quality of life stuff. Okay, this is going to allow you to get more money out of boxes, to move faster in stealth, right? All that kind of stuff. So we're going to start with this one because it's the one that I think people are the least interested in, right? So I should move me, huh? I should. Let me do this. I'm going to move me up here. Maybe right about there. There we go. That'll work for now. Okay. So we're going to put that up there, right? So you've got stuff. If you start down here at the bottom, right? You have what's called Haggler. It increases the cost which merchants buy your goods from 2% per stage. So you can spend up to 50 points in this, right? What? Getting rated by Ninja Terry. Thank you very much for sharing your community with ours. Greatly appreciate you. Love this fucking song. Ninja Terry, thank you very much for the raid. I appreciate you. Welcome everybody from Ninja Terry's community. Thank you for sharing yours with ours. I hope you had a good stream tonight. We're just getting started looking at the CP system for ESO. I'm on the public test server right now, so if you've got questions or whatnot about that, I may be able to answer them. I may not. I've played around with this for a couple of hours. More than a couple hours until way too fucking late last night's what I did. But anyway, so we're taking a look at this line, so if you got questions, holler, and we'll see if we can find the answers. So the Haggler thing is going to allow you to get up to a 10% bonus from selling stuff to merchants. So if you've got a tune out there that's your moneymaker, this is the line that you want to be looking at. And we have Fleet Phantom reduces the movement speed penalty of sneak by 5% per stage. 40 points can spend there. Breakfall reduces your fall damage by 7% per stage. So there's that. And then Fortune's Favor increases the amount of gold you find in treasure chests and safe boxes by 10% per stage. So if you put 50 points into this, that's a 50% bonus to the gold you find in treasure boxes and safe boxes. So if you pump that up there, right? Now here's the did you see these trees open, right? I'm going to go back. I'm going to close that back down, right? So once you get to 10, it's going to open the next set of trees. Okay? So if you're like, I want to put points in this and it won't fucking let me, it's because you've got to open the trees to kind of progress yourself up there. It's still a progression system. It's just like the system we currently have when you have the boons at the top and you got to spend so many points and it opens that passive bonus. You got to do that with this. And it'll show you, if you look, it'll show you what it's tied to, right? You'll see these little faint lines as you open these things up, then the lines get a little brighter, right? And you're able to move. Some of them you can just add stuff. This Steed's Blessing increases your out of combat movement speed by 1% per stage, right? And these are just points. There's no cap. You can take it up to 50, I believe, is what it is, right? I think if there's no cap listed, it goes to 50. So you can 1% per stage. That's a plus 50% movement speed out of combat. Okay. Repairing your armor reduces the cost of that. Then you have reduce the cost of sneak. You can improve the chances of extracting woodworking ingredients and allow the refining of more powerful resins from raw materials and that kind of stuff. Your treasure hunter, the things that we're looking at, right? This one here, homemaker, you have a 10% chance to find a second furnishing plan when you find a furnishing plan in the world. That's going to be amazing, right? No, that's not true. So, all right. So, let me take a look at this real quick. Where are we at with this? We're at 64%. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, so these are really cool. So plentiful harvest, you have a 20% chance to gain double the yield from normal resource nodes per stage. Okay, so you spend 20 points into that, and you unlock the next stuff. War mount improves your mastery with mounts, removing all mount stamina cost outside of combat. So you can get on your mount and sprint long as you want to, right? But there again, you have to spend 120 points in this line, right, to unlock it. So the deal is this, right? This will not be available. When it says spend 20 to unlock, okay, you cannot put it up here on your bar until you've spent that number of points, okay? So if you've got one like this one that says spend 50 to unlock and you put 10 points into that, you're not going to be able to put it up here on your bar. It's just not going to happen. You have to have all the points in this one to be able to move it up here to the bar. Okay, so there's no more of this theory crafting of, well, they're going to round this up and it's going to be fine and we're going to fucking play with the decimals and all that stuff. They're just not going to let us do it anymore, right? So we're going to have the points to put into it to go. So here's my advice is this, right? Pure and simple. My advice is this. This line, right, is quality of life stuff, okay? This is where you want to put your points on characters that are doing kind of weird stuff, not combat stuff, right? Okay. This is Blade of Woe stuff over here, right? You get higher quality loot when you pickpocket, that kind of stuff, right? So I'm going to discard those changes and we'll back out of this, right? That's quality of life stuff, okay? Sorry, I meant to go to the combat line, okay? Right now, this is the only line that has subcategories, and they're purple. You'll see them right here, okay? And I have points spent into this because I was running around killing stuff and kind of getting a feel for how my character feels, right? So you get into this stuff, and it'll, like Reaving Blows, when you deal direct damage, you heal for 7% of the damage done, okay? That's really, really useful. Okay, you don't think 7% is a lot, but when you're doing the kind of damage that we're going to be doing eventually, it's going to make a big difference, right? There's lots of stuff you can add. 26 points of magicka per point that you spend here. Okay, you can increase your weapon and spell damage by 3 per point, right? There's lots of stuff down here about tanking. So your tanking line is down here. Okay, your healing line is over here on the staff, and your combat line is over here on the arm. And this stuff right here is extra combat that's going to be useful for everybody because it's healing and damage related. It's crit stuff. Okay. So we spend points into this, doing a lot more damage with the CP system. I think, and here's the thing, Thule. I feel like I played around last night, went and ran some delves, did some stuff on the test server, and I felt really, really good with this character, right? I felt really like I didn't feel overpowered. I didn't feel like I'd been nerfed. I felt a little more durable, right, than I currently feel on the live server. I felt a little tankier. But I put some points in some places, right, that allowed me to kind of be that way. But I felt really, really solid about it. Now, I think folks at the higher end of DPS, where the folks that are parsing, 85 to 110,000 DPS, they're going to feel like they got nerfed at first. And I think that's what's going to be the case. And I don't know that to be true because I'm not one of those people, but it's probably how they're going to feel. So there's going to be some knee-jerk reaction and some people fucking kind of railing against the machine for a little bit when this goes live. But we also have to understand we don't know how to build this yet, right? The other CP system, people have theory crafted that shit to death, right? So there's people have their different builds and whatnot. If you go and you look at Zynode's builds, right? If you look at a magic character, right, build for Zynode, all those CP points are exactly the same for each one of those characters because he's done the math at what helps those characters the most. If you've got a character that's stamina based, all of those numbers are exactly the same for each one of those stamina characters because that's where you need to put those points. We don't have that here yet. Honestly, look, we just got a new toy and we don't even know what it can do yet. It's like handing a 3-year-old a cell phone. What do we know how to do with it? Stick it in our mouth, right? Fucking, we don't, we don't fucking know what to do yet, So what I'm going to say is the Chicken Littles of the world need to fucking sit on their hands a little bit, right? Pump their brakes. Let's figure out how to use the system because I think overall this is going to be a huge win for us. Okay, long term. Now, what I'll say is this: if you're below 810 right now, work to get to 810. Right? Do not listen. I'm gonna say this fucking real loud for the people in the back. Do not use XP scrolls right now. Don't do it. Just keep working with the system we've got. It's built to get you to 810 in a relatively quick fashion. Okay, they're going to rework the curve for us to be able to get new CPs. Right. They're going to rework that curve. Okay. When they rework that curve, that's when you want to hit your fucking experience scrolls. Once this goes live, because they're going to flatten that curve. That we're not going to have 4 million points to go fucking 10 levels. Right. Right, like right now, right, for you to go, if you're above 810, right, you're basically spending 1 million XP to go to the next fucking level, right? Once you hit about that 1,000 mark, about 1,000 mark and up, it's about 1.1 million or so, all the way up, right? They're going to bring that number down. They're going to compress all that stuff so we can get those CPs faster, right? Because they're taking our fucking CPs and they're going from 810 to 3,600. Well, in the current system, let's say you're sitting at 1,000 right now, right? 1,000 CP, and you want to go to 3,600 CP, that's going to be about I did the math the other day. It was like 4 billion XP, somewhere in there. It's just not gonna work. So hold on to your XP scrolls. Hold on to them, right? Don't spend them as they give them to you when we're doing monthly events and that kind of stuff. Put them in the fucking store, or put them in your storage. Put them in your storage. As you gain them from leveling new characters, put them in storage. All right. Once this goes live, fucking start running everything with fucking XP scrolls, right? Because that's going to be your best bet to get CP levels, right? You're just gonna blast through them, right? So that's my advice, right? It's free, worth every fucking penny you just paid for it. So there you go. All right. So when you look at this, right, we've got some points up here. Deadly aim, increase your damage done to a single target, attacks by 2% per stage. So you can get a 10% bonus to single targets. You can get a 10% bonus to damage over time effects, right? And you can get a 10% bonus for area of effect attacks, right? So these three right here, right, are fucking they're going to be mag sorks and whatnot. They're going to be our fucking best friend, right? They're going to, right? But to get them opened, you have to open these lines, right? So I've already spent points here. I can redistribute them, but so I had to spend points here, right, to get this one to open. I had to spend points here to get this one to open, right? Right? And whatever it says at the bottom, right, where it says down there, spend 15 to unlock, that's your threshold to be able to unlock it and use it. If you don't meet that threshold, you're getting nothing from it. Okay? So it's very cool. It is very, very cool. I've said this and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, right? I think most of you guys have been around me long enough to know that I don't sugarcoat anything. If I think it's good, I'm gonna tell you I think it's good. If I think it's trash, I'm gonna tell you I think it's trash, right? I think this is, for the long term of ESO, this is the absolute fucking bee's knees when it comes to what they're doing, right? Because this is adaptable. It's able to be expanded, right? They were talking about these subcategories, right? The subconstellations, right? You go into this one, right? Your increases your healing taken by 1% per stage. Hi, Amy.
She's a whiny little runt, isn't she?
Reduce your damage taken from non-player attacks by 3% per stage. So here, this is your tanking stuff, right? Hardy, right? Resilience grants 132 critical resistance per stage. Fuck. Right? Reducing your damage taken from critical strikes by 2%. So you get a 10% fucking crit resist, right? From that. Reduces the damage you take from magical attacks, right? All that stuff is still here. All the stuff that we're using right now is still here. It's just going to be kind of distributed a little differently, right? So that's the combat line. The healing line, I haven't played with it yet, right? But it's going to work the same as the mag line, as far as the damage line goes, right? Here's a really cool one. If you haven't seen this, I need to move my camera again. Give me a second. I'm going to put my face back down here. Maybe I'm going to, nope, that's the wrong camera. Dummy. There we go. Let me put move my camera back down here a little bit. Okay. This one right here, Cleansing Revival. Okay. Healing a target under 25% health removes all harmful effects from them. This effect can occur once every 24 seconds. Whew. That is huge, right? That is huge, right? We're still going to run our purge and all that kind of, still run that as a healer, right? But this gives us a kind of oh shit button, right? Just in case, right? Just in case. What if that person's outside of your cleansing circle, right? What if, your cleansing circle just went down, right? And you haven't had time to throw it up, but your tank just got fucking splatted, right? Right? Then you can cleanse that effect, heal them, right? And then get your cleansing circle or your purge back up, right? So it's a gap filler, right? It's a gap filler. It's not meant to be relied upon, but it's a nice quality of life improvement for healers, right? So I know everybody's like, fuck healers. I don't care about them people. I know you don't, but I do, right? Right? It's kind of nasty for PvP, yeah. Battlefield Nightmare Cinch Mount, that is all. Yeah. So, this is Swift Renewal, increases your healing done with healing over time effects. That's a 10% boost. So it's really nice, right? I think this is going to be really, really fun to theory craft with and all that stuff when we get to it. Now we're going to jump over to the red line. The fucking artwork here is fantastic, right? It's beautiful, right? I'm going to jump over to this line real quick. This is your survivability stuff. So in stamina, reduce the cost of block. Your on guard stuff while immune to crowd control increases the amount of damage you block by 2%. Movement speed while bracing by 3%, right? So there's these are kind of your survivability and tank lines. Restore 300 magicka per stage whenever you kill an enemy. That's nice. Very nice for your sustain, right? What this should tell you, right? Here's the thing, right? What this change and what these abilities should tell you is moving forward. HRY16, thank you for the follow. I greatly appreciate you. Welcome in. So what this should tell you, if you look at what they're giving us and what these skills are doing by replenishing magicka, replenishing stamina, we're going to run into a lot more places where something's draining our fucking resources. Okay? So keep that in mind, right? Remember I said it. Right? Remember I said it. We're going to run into situations where they're going to be draining our resources, right? When we're in dungeons, whenever we're fighting bosses, we're going to, a lot of this stuff about reducing, there's one in here where you get, you have a chance that your roll dodge is free. That should tell you we're going to need that shit a lot more. Okay? Do you know what I'm saying? If you look at what they're giving us for survivability and whatnot, you can begin to see where the content's going, right? Thule just resubscribed for 5 months with Twitch Prime. Just Twitch Primed out of his mind. Look at him. parsley. It's the greatest thing in the world. To have some whiskey here in a minute. Thank you very much for the resub, my friend. I appreciate you, Tully, very much. So, thank you. 5 months of sub loving. Cheers, my friend. Yes, they are changing some racial passives. One of the Argonian one, and Imperials. So they're buffing the Imperials. They're kind of nerfing the Argonians a little bit. And Nords. Okay, I hadn't seen the Nord one. So, but this stuff allows you to increase your max health, your max armor. So here's the deal: if you're a clothy, right? If you're like me and you're running around in fucking cloth armor all the fucking time, watch this. I can put 50 points in this. I grab this, I drag it up here to my champion bar, right? And I become ironclad, right? So you won't see the bonus. You see it says current bonus is 0. You won't see the bonus until you hit confirm. So you got to hit R, confirm it, and then it comes up and it'll tell you so I just with 50 points, I bought myself a 1730 armor boost. That's like wearing a fucking heavy chest piece, right? Right? So, Nords are getting a resistant nerf. Okay. All right. What's going on, Pagan? How are you, bro? It's good to see you. Thanks for coming in. We're going through this new stuff and whatnots, right? If you want this right here for me, right? For me, this is worth its weight in gold, right? This one right here, Rejuvenation, grants 3 health, magicka, and stamina recovery per stage. So it's no longer, hey, let's pick one, right? If you spend 50 points here, okay, put that on your fucking bar, right? Hit confirm. I just gained 150 health, magicka, and stamina recovery, right? That's a huge boost, right? That's a huge boost for all of us, right? So, all right. There's lots of these are all kind of stuff that we're used to as far as like getting out of traps and that kind of stuff. Expert evasion, your next roll dodge is free of cost. After consuming this effect, you cannot gain again for 30 seconds. So once every 30 seconds, you get a free roll dodge. Shit. For 50 points, I'm taking it. Right? But you got to spend 10 points here, right? Or sorry, 15 points. You got to spend 15 points here, reduce the cost of roll dodging. So I'm going to spend 15 points there. And then I'm going to throw 50 points into this. I'm going to drop that on my bar up here. And now every 30 seconds, I get a free roll dodge. So, well, the thing about it is, Chris, they may make hybrid builds more viable, but that's going to be a long-term thing. That right? Because currently, right, they're not changing our gear sets. Our gear sets do not allow for hybrid builds. Right? So think about that, right? Now we can theory craft hybrid builds in this system all day long, but our current armor systems and armor sets just don't allow for that to happen. So, we may be able to do it. I don't know. It's there again. We're back into theory crafting and letting people crunch numbers and all that kind of stuff and figuring out what the best builds are. And and that ain't my deal. So but I think it's going to be really hard to build a viable hybrid build. I mean, right now the Templars are a really solid hybrid build. I think Wardens can be a really solid hybrid build. But as far as like and I'm talking about hybrid between DPS and healing. I'm not talking about between magicka and stamina, right? Because you end up because of the way the current system is set up, as far as those points go, right? If you split your points between mag and stam, you end up kind of hampering yourself. You do less DPS, you have less survivability, all that kind of stuff. So there's going to be some other systems that have to be revamped before hybrid builds become as viable as the builds we're currently using. I think that's just me looking at it from this 30,000 foot area. But I think I think that's definitely a direction that they're going to move. I think because one of the things that's a death knell of an MMO is when you pigeonhole people into certain armor sets, certain roles, certain things, right? Because the more choices you have, right? And this is what people did. That is fucking every MMO that I've ever played got in this fucking bad habit of the Holy Trinity, right? They just want to put everybody back into these fucking boxes because it makes it easier for them, right? It's not fun. It's not fun for us. Okay. It's fun for new gamers, right? It's fun for new people to the game, right? But people who've been playing the game for a while, that shit's not fun, right? It's just not. We want more options, right? So this is what killed Neverwinter for me. You guys remember I played Neverwinter. I love that fucking game. What killed Neverwinter for me is they broke their system down and they just dumbed it down to the lowest common denominator. Instead of making it more robust and more complex, which is what this is, right? They dumbed it down to the lowest common denominator. They made cookie cutter builds. They said here's what you can and cannot do. You can slot these skills and only these skills. You can have these feats and only these feats. And that's not Dungeons and Dragons to me. That's a fucking action RPG. Okay, that's what that is. That's not Dungeons and Dragons to me, right? I want the complexity. I want the ability to make things mine, right? Right now, we're learning this system. So people are going to theory craft. They're going to come out with all these numbers. They're going to be like, here, put points there, right? Do that, right? Do that for a while. Get used to the system and then figure out what works for you, right? Because I think this is going to allow us as regular players much more freedom of movement across our builds because we're not going to be dealing with fucking percentages all the goddamn time, right? And decimal points and all that kind of shit. We're going to be able to look at it and go, okay, here's what I want. The other really cool thing is I can pull things off my bar, right? And put them back on the bar at no cost. Okay? I got to remember what the fuck that was because I'm dumb. What did I do with it? Biting Aura, Thaumaturge, Breathing Blows. Okay, so it's this one. Deadly Aim. I got to put it back on my bar. So you can move things off your bar and on your bar, no cost. The only cost is the same to respec, right? To redistribute your points, it's the same 3,000 gold that we've been paying all along. Okay? Yeah, there's only one meta asset, right? And I think this moves us away from that. And I'm all for that. I hate the fucking term meta. You guys know that. I hate that shit, right? Don't tell me this is the only way I can play, right? You play the game you paid for, and I'll play the game I paid for, right? And if you don't want me in your group because I'm not doing X, Y, or Z the way you want me to, okay, fuck off. I'll play the way I want to, right? That's the beautiful part of it. There's 13 million people playing this game. I can play with any of them, right? Right? If I want to come run trials with you like we do with No Bait, then I'm making those decisions to go, you know what? I want a healer that can be able to do this. So I make those decisions. But don't tell me I have to, right? Because I don't. I don't have to run trials. Nobody has to run trials, by the way. Ever. You don't ever have to run a trial in this game. You know how I know that? Because we have played for almost 2 years without running any trials. And it's all fine. Right? So, right. Basically, the only ship to fly was the Drake. Fleets were Drake upon Drake. Yeah, exactly. And so that's the thing I want to stay the fuck away from, you know, is I really don't want to, I don't want to be, you know, stuck in this game of cookie cutters, you know. I should do this one. Just so I can have some extra health, because I like having more hit points. Anybody hate having hit points? Anybody hate that shit? Because I love having more hit points, right? 1,400 more hit points. I'll take it. Run like hell. That's what I'll do. So EXO, we were just getting through the kind of the CP revamp and whatnot. This is the last block of it. So, you know, I rather than go back through it all, I invite people to go and, you know, come back and watch the VOD. Maybe I'll cut this out and make it kind of just a video of just these three pieces, and make it a highlight or whatnot so that folks can just watch that stuff. So, you don't want hit points, right? Exactly, Dina. I hate hit points. They're so goddamn demanding. I hate them. You know, I haven't spent any points over here, right, in the craft. And by the way, look at this fucking artwork, would you? Jesus Christ. Right? It's just fucking gorgeous. My God. Right? Just fucking, their artwork is always, right? Graphics and whatnot coming out of ESO are just absolutely stunning all the fucking time, right? I don't care about health until I have none, right? Yeah. Till I'm at -1, leave me alone, right? Right? So I'll come back to craft and whatnot. I'll play around with it over the next few days, and you know, and see, you know, what's good and what's not. But as far as the you know, I built this character. He has the same skills on the bar that I have on my live character. I went back through and rebuilt all that stuff. I didn't spend all my skill points. I just bought the stuff I needed to build him and got all my passives and that stuff. And then I ran out and just started killing stuff, you know, and it feels beautiful. It feels really, really good. It feels robust. It feels very comfortable to me. I feel a little tankier, right, than I do on the live server, right? Even against the new mobs. But I'll tell you this, this is not a spoiler for anybody. I'm just going to tell you, get ready for stealth mobs, because they're coming at us. Okay? They are coming at us, right? I ran into them last night over and over and over again, and they are not fucking funny, right? They are not funny, right? Right, exactly. So the companion thing is really I'm looking forward to that, because here's the deal: is if it's been a while since you have started a character from scratch with absolutely 0 champion points, go do that. Just to remind yourself how tough some of the places in this game can be when you're low level and don't have any fucking skills, okay? And you don't have the benefit of your champion points from your max level characters or high level characters. Go do that. Build a character. Don't spend any champion points on it. Just go out and run in the wilderness with it, right? And remind yourself what it's like to run solo in this game from the beginning, right? There are places where run into a fucking river troll. Do that. Do it. All right? Right? With your little fucking hatchet. Right? So, right? Just remember that, you know, this game's not for the high-end folks, companions, man. Well, here's what I'll tell you about companions. When people start complaining about them, so I'm going to tell you, it's the same thing I tell people about fucking abortions. It's the same thing I tell people about fucking guns or whatever the fuck else they want to complain about other people doing with their lives, right? It's not mandatory. You don't have to do it. So don't. But stop shitting on other people's fun.